Welcome to 2008 Presidential Petitioning Training for New York State. So in front of you, you have the basic petitioning guidelines. You have a sample designating petition, and then you have a sample piece of literature. We're going to start off just sort of going over the petition and the different cells that are in the petition so that you'll be familiar with them. So the petitions that you're going to be getting once we have the nominees worked out, are going to have under name of candidate, the name of the presidential nominee, the name of her or his vice presidential candidate, their addresses. And then underneath there, it's going to say, I do hereby appoint, and that is what's known as your committee to fill vacancies. So there are going to be a lot of names in there, and people, when you're asking them to sign the petition, are going to look at that and ask questions about it. Who are these people? What are they about? And basically, they're just the people that are your electorates. They're also the people that are going to, in case your nominee gets hit by a bus, doesn't accept the nomination, has to step down from the campaign for personal reasons. That is the committee that chooses who will be on the ballot instead of whoever we're petitioning for. Everybody has one of every party, so it's just sort of standard operating procedure. Then below that, you'll see your little boxes with the date. What I like to do is have a different petition for every day that I'm doing it, and I like to write in the date ahead of time because there'll be a lot of people that are from Europe or Latin America, and they write the dates differently than Americans do. So today being 6/23, they would write 23/6. The Board of Elections would then mark that invalid. The year will be filled in for you. The only thing that you need the person who's signing the petition to actually fill out his or herself is the signature. So when you're petitioning, as long as they sign it, you are capable of writing in everything else, including date, the written name of the person below that signature, the residence, and in the residence, the top line is for the street address. You do not need the apartment number. In fact, it's best to not put the apartment number because sometimes people will move in between apartments and the BOE won't necessarily keep track of which apartment they're in, and that might get marked invalid. And then the town, state, and the county. So there's 62 counties in New York. The 5 counties of New York City I'm going to go over with you just because not everybody knows what they are. Manhattan is New York County. Brooklyn is, and that's in your packet, so you don't have to write it down. Manhattan is New York County, Brooklyn is Kings County, the Bronx is Bronx County, Staten Island is Richmond County, and Queens is Queens County. If someone doesn't know their county, leave it blank, and that is the rule of thumb for the entire petitioning process. When in doubt, leave something blank, and then go over it with the person that's going to help you clean your petitions when you turn them in, and you'll go over those together and initial all the little changes that need to be made. So then when you get to the statement of witness, and so one of the things that you want to fill out right away when you're starting a new sheet is your name, and it just says, I am the witness, and you stick in your name, first and last name. And that way, if your petitions get jumbled up with somebody else's, we'll be able to sort through and determine which ones are yours. Then the second line, which is also faint dots, is where you put your address. And then there's a little tiny little spot where you put in the number of signatures for each petition. Leave that blank. You're going to fill it out with a person that helps you clean your petitions. And then there's a date at the bottom. That is the date that you sign and witness the petition. So that date has to be at least the last date on the page that you're working or later. So if you've got someone who signed up on July 4th and you're witnessing that page on July 1st, you've just invalidated all the signatures on there. So again, it's really just best to leave things like this blank until the end, when you'll go over it with the person that you hand in your petitions to. Under witness identification, it's asking for your town or city. In New York City, you want to put New York. If you live in Brooklyn, you put New York. If you live in Queens or Staten Island, you put New York. And then when you put your county, again, whichever county is appropriate for the borough that you live in. The thing that you're going to have happen the most is someone's going to make a mistake. If someone's flipped the signature and the written name, initial it, a simple line through, and then just move on to the next spot that's available. You start clean on the next line. Don't scribble and draw too many arrows or lines, or the BOE is going to reject it. So just cross it out with a clean, simple line, move on to the next cell. if you notice that the mistake is being made while the person's signing, then you go ahead and you have them just do it on the next row. When you are finished petitioning, you're going to go and meet with your petition coordinator, so that's going to be me or Michael, and we're going to sit down with you, and we're going to go through your petitions, and we're going to point out all the errors, and we're going to go through and we're going to say, oh, you need to initial here, here, and here, and we're basically going to clean up the petitions for you and let you know everywhere on the petition sheet that you need to initial to make everything right. And if something can't be salvaged, then we'll go through and strike that particular signature. And that's why you don't want to put the number of signatures at the bottom of the sheet. You want to wait, because if a signature needs to be struck, then it'll affect the number of signatures for that sheet. I like to personally write in the name and the address because I can ensure that the handwriting is legible. I also know which sections everything needs to go into. However, when you're on the street, you will often find that people are a little finicky about that and they want to write in their address themselves. I generally let them do it if they seem like they're very into doing that. But what I like to do ahead of time is, I have my little spiel that I'm doing. Yeah, so all I need is your signature here on the top line, printed name on the bottom, address here, and no apartment number or zip needed. And I just sort of tell them that and let them like write it in, and that sort of prevents them, like, oh, your county, I'll fill that in, but when in doubt, like, oh, I'll fill that in. Other people are incredibly protective, what's your name? They'll write it. What's your address? They'll write it down. And then they let the person sign it. So again, whatever's comfortable for you, I find that during the daytime when I'm on the street, letting people write in their own addresses is great. Doing the pub crawl, I'll write it in for you. So it's, again, I just recommend that whatever you're most comfortable with is the way to go. And the second thing that you have is just a generic piece of literature for the Green Party. It's a half sheet. It's the Green Party 10 values. And when you're petitioning, whoever the nominee is will have something that's like this. It's going to be a half sheet, it's going to be a third of a sheet, and it's going to have her or his picture on it and a few bullet points about why they're fabulous and wonderful. And when you're petitioning, you're just going to be gathering signatures and sort of name branding the candidate. So this isn't a situation where you have to know the entire life story of the candidate. You don't have to know and defend everything that she or he has done in an elected office to date. You just want a few bullet points. They're for ecological wisdom, they're for nonviolence, they're for decentralization. She's a feminist. People don't have a lot of time and they don't need to know everything. This is the kind of information that you're going to be handing out. It'll have the information of the website for the candidate so the person can go online and get more information. But you don't have to sell the entire campaign. You just want to get a signature. You just want to get your candidate on the ballot. And a lot of times people who don't necessarily want to vote for your candidate, but just like the idea of multiple choices, will go ahead and sign the petition. Usually the pitch that works the best is whatever pitch you're comfortable with. So if you're comfortable, if you're calm, people will be open to it. All right, and then the third thing that you have in front of you is 4 pages of basic petitioning guidelines. You've got it in front of you, so I'm not going to read over everything, but you do need to use blue or black ink. You can't use pencil. Anyone who's petitioning must be a registered voter in New York State. So if you've got a friend that's from Connecticut, from New Jersey, and they want to help you petition, great. They can buddy up with you, but you need to be in a proximity near them so that you're witnessing those signatures as well. So if you're on a street corner together, you can't send someone far away from you. You have to, it's like having 2 clipboards at once by having that other physical body there, but no one from another state can witness signatures. So if you've just moved here from Ohio and you haven't registered to vote in New York State yet, can't witness signatures. There are voter registration forms. You can register to vote online. The last date to register to vote in New York State for this campaign for the general election is October 10th in terms of having it postmarked or handing them in by October 15th. I like to keep a stack of these babies with me when I'm petitioning, and what you don't want to do is sign someone up to register to vote and then let them sign your petition, because it's not going to be processed in time and that signature will be marked invalid. So if someone hasn't registered to vote, give them a voter reg card, but don't let them sign the petition. And one of the things that I like to do, because I'm a Green Party fanatic, Right now, we're not pre-printed on the voter card, so I like to go through and highlight other and write in Green Party, just so that people might be tempted to check it. If someone fills out the voter reg card, you can encourage them to hand it back to you, because if we hand those in, we know that those folks are going to be registered to vote. Whereas someone might forget to do it, they might lose it, whatever the case may be.
But they still don't sign, even if you take their registration.
Right, you can take their voter registration card, but they're still not eligible to sign your petition. And you can then turn around and hand in those voter registration cards to the person that is your petition captain. You don't have to physically walk down to the BOE yourself. Who can sign a petition? We're looking for registered voters in New York State. Since this is a presidential campaign, any registered voter in any part of the state, in any county, who has not already signed a petition. So if they have signed a petition for Obama, for Hillary, for John McCain, for Ron Paul, and it doesn't matter as long as it's President of the United States, for Bob Barr, for Ralph Nader, if they've signed a petition for anyone else for this election cycle for president, they can't sign our petition. Well, they can sign it, but it'll be marked invalid and it'll be a waste of everybody's time. Because we have to go through this process knowing that we're going to be challenged. You just have to know you're going to be challenged and make sure that you are the best, shiniest submitted petitions ever. Yeah, if they don't know, it's probably okay to take their signature, but usually people know, like, oh, I signed for Obama, or oh, I signed for Nader. Then just going to sort of go through things now about like how you interact with the voters. I'm going to pull back for a second and just say that when I go out, I like to dress nicely. I don't wear my punk shirts. I don't, I like to differentiate myself as a petition gatherer from people that are trying to get money. So usually the people that are trying to get money look like college students, so I try not to look like a college student. I try to dress well, wear a button-up shirt, wear really nice clothes because that doesn't scare people off. I will wear a Green Party shirt if I have one, or a campaign shirt if I have one. When you have your clipboard, you can put stickers on the back of your clipboard, or you can tape things to the back of your clipboard so that people can see as they're coming up to you on the sidewalk what you're about. Sometimes I'll ask people like, oh, do you have a moment for ballot access? And someone will look at me like, oh, that's the girl with the clipboard. Then you might want to say like, I'm not asking for money. And you see people relax a little bit because, oh, okay, she's not asking me to make a donation. The pitch that you're going to use is the pitch that's going to work best for you. So if you want to say, hi, do you have a minute for ballot access? Hi, I'm gathering signatures for the Green Party. Hi, I'm gathering signatures for Cat Swift, Cynthia, McKinney, whomever. Do you have a minute for whatever rap you're most comfortable with is going to be the rap that is the most effective. And sometimes I use different raps depending on what situation I am in. Sometimes if I'm tabling in a park, my pitch will be different than if I'm doing a pub crawl. Then people will sometimes ask what the Green Party's about. This is a really great flyer to have in terms of what the Green Party's about. It's got the website, it's got the 10 key values. Some people will ask you a lot of questions about Ralph Nader. I'm assuming that everyone here knows who Nader is, who the Green Party is, and where they've been together and where they've been apart. I ran for office in 2004, and it was an incredibly challenging year to do so because there was a lot of hostility and a lot of confusion where some people still don't understand that Ralph Nader is not the Green Party candidate. If you have signed a petition for another candidate, you can't witness for the Green Party. So if you've signed Ralph Nader's petition because you think everybody should be able to be on the ballot, you can't witness for the Green Party candidate, and vice versa.
At all?
At all. Okay. Yeah. So, and you can't witness on your own signature. So when I want to sign the petition to go ahead and get our candidate on the ballot, I'm going to go to Frances and sign a petition that she's carrying, and vice versa. So you always got to sign your friend's petition, never your own. So people will say things like, oh, I can't sign your petition, I'm a registered Democrat. No, you can be registered by any party and sign for the Greens because we don't have ballot status right now, which means that anybody can sign. It's an independent nominating petition. Greens can sign, independents can sign, no party people can sign, Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, anybody, we'll take you. People will also ask, if I sign, does this mean that I have to vote for this candidate? No, it's just to get the person on the ballot. You can still vote for whomever you want. People are also concerned that they're going to receive an undue volume of junk mail and solicitations for money. That doesn't happen. But in the campaigns that I've personally worked on, we've made a specific choice to not do direct mailings to the people that have signed, because it's been such an overwhelming concern with the people that we've heard in our petitioning teams on the street. I don't want to get any junk mail. I don't want to be asked for money later on. So, if you're in an incredibly busy situation and you really feel like you're a kung fu master of petitioning, it's okay to carry multiple clipboards. So you might have one here, and you're in a busy intersection and you're handing multiple petitions out. So that's okay. You just want to make sure that you get all of them back. There's different ways of petitioning. I'm going to go ahead and move into some sort of best practices. In this neighborhood, which is North Brooklyn, places that have been successful, train stations, obviously, it is legal to petition on the platforms. Anyone who tells you otherwise has misinformation. Sometimes people find it's better to petition on the platforms because people are waiting for the trains, they're stuck there, they can't go anywhere, it's a good time to get signatures. Other people find that getting people coming in and out of the turnstiles, other people find that people in and out on the street level, whatever works best for you, whatever you're comfortable with. Clearly you don't want to be blocking the stairs, clearly you don't want to be blocking anyone's means of getting to and from the trains. Supermarkets, Key Foods, any of those supermarkets are great places to petition, especially on weekends. People coming in or going out, usually coming in better than going out because they're carrying heavy groceries. And also, North Brooklyn Greens has collapsible tables. We have collapsible little stools. So if you want to do things like go to McKinney Park, sometimes people feel safer or more official if they've got a table with them. And sometimes if you set up on a busy park corner with 2 or 3 people, you can go ahead and really just knock out a lot of people. There's a green market in McKinney Park. There's also the pool that's doing concerts. So when people are in the queue waiting to go into concerts at the McKinney Park pool, it's an excellent place to get people that can't go anywhere else, along with the B61 bus stops during crunch time. And then the last place that I personally like to petition are in bars, because people are drinking, they're not in a hurry, leaving to and from, and Williamsburg and Greenpoint has a lot of bars. So if you go bar hopping, I like to do is take optimally at least 4 people. You have one person go in and purchase 2 beverages to distract the bartender. One person goes down the bar, gets all those signatures. The other person hits the booth. That's person number 3 hitting the booth. And then person number 4 goes into the backyard and gets all those folks. You split the 2 beers amongst 4 people, you move on to the next bar. That is pretty much single-handedly how I got on the ballot in 2004. So lots of different ways to petition, lots of different, there's no rule saying you can't get a signature at 4 in the morning. I think it's probably a matter of conscience about like whether you're going to get a petition signature from a drunk person or not. But you know, bars are a great place because I personally find that in the subway situation, people are going to work, they're late for work, they're going to go pick up their kids. So I personally have a hard time at subways. Other people that I work with love the subway. So it's just, again, like the way that your rap is going to be most effective depending on your personality and what you're comfortable with, where your petitioning is going to be most effective depending on the environments that you're comfortable with. And then in terms of contacting people for materials, contacting people to get assignments, some people like to petition independently. They just keep their clipboard with them and they petition wherever they go. Other people like structure. They want to go on a pub crawl with other people. They want to be at a subway with someone else at a certain time. People you're going to contact for North Brooklyn this year are going to be myself and Michael. Contact information is on your sheets. And we'll be emailing the petitions when they're ready. We're going to be emailing out literature when it's ready, and then we'll also be able to come meet you and personally hand stuff off when you need it.